Welcome back to Karlstad, Sweden. It's time again for the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship 2016. We have 42 teams, 6 groups, lots of curling action for you all week. And today, this evening, this afternoon actually, we'll have Norway and Turkey from Group C. Neither team yet to play. We had one draw so far earlier. And quite excited about this one actually. Norway bronze medalists from last year will take on the Turkish, a nation that's really excelled at curling in the last few years. This is Group C. We have England, Japan, Kazakhstan, Luxembourg, Norway, Romania and Turkey making up quite the interesting group, and a few new teams for us to see. And we have the lineup for Team Norway. Male player, Magnus Nedergotten, and female, Kristin Skaslin. Team is coached by Ole Ingvaldsen.
And the lineup for Turkey, we have Kadir Shakir and Dilsat Yildiz. Their team coach is Agduman Faith. And here you see the rules of play. You have 2 players, 1 male, 1 female. They play 6 stones per team, but 1 is pre-placed. It's 8 ends or 22 minutes of thinking time, and the players will throw either stones 1 and 5 or 2, 3 and 4. They are allowed to switch positions in between the ends. And more rules. Both players can sweep, and holding the broom is now optional. You can choose to have the sweeper instead. No takeouts are allowed until the 4th stone of each end. And also a new rule is the power play option that each team has once a game when they have hammer. That means they can move the guard and the stone in the house out to the side.
Well, thank you very much. We're about to get underway. You're listening to myself, Sander Elvåg, and I'm joined by my lovely and all-knowing expert, Sarah Carlson.
I'll try and live up to that, Sander. Thank you very much.
If some of the rules are a bit confusing, we will make sure to get you through it and explain what's going on in this new Olympic sport, mixed doubles. As you see, the team's just having their final practice slides before we get going. The teams did have a last stone draw in practice to determine who would have the last stone advantage. And as you can see by that tiny little hammer up on the scoreboard, it belongs to Norway. So we'll have Turkey start off this first end of play. As you see the pre-positioned stones out front, it's Turkey playing the yellow stone, so they will have the guard. Norway with last stone will always have the stone in the forfeit. Team with hammer has the stone in the house. And that stone, of course, is moved to the back of the forfeit rather than just back a T-line like in previous years, just to give the teams a option here to, if they want to play the freeze or come top forfeit, top 8. You never know.
No, you don't, and we're soon gonna find out what Turkey likes to do as Yildiz gets ready in the hack to throw the first stone of the game. You can see that they are electing not to have a skip, but to have a sweeper instead, which I think is quite common for, at least for the draw game, since that rule changed. So coming down top 8 or forfeit would be ideal for this. Maybe just a little bit high, because now it's also buried in between the center guard and still quite high up in the rings. Norway with an opportunity to sit 2 very, very early in the end. Kristin Skaslin is the female player for Norway. This team, of course, very experienced now in mixed doubles play.
You might see they've been around the block a few times with that bronze medal last year, their best finish. They are really eyeing up a chance to get to the Olympics. Of course, this year's World Championship and next year's will be the two championships. So you'll be getting your Olympic points to qualify for Pyeongchang in 2018.
Yeah, and maybe a little too heavy with that draw. Would certainly like to have it a little bit higher in the rings, because it does leave Turkey an opportunity to play the freeze. This is Shakir Kadir. He needs this in front of the tee line.
Certainly have played a few tournaments himself. Played the European Curling Championships 3 times. All in the B group, of course, and also the European Mixed. And they did play the World Mixed Championship, or the Mixed Doubles rather, last year, with a 3-6 record.
Yeah, so hoping to improve this year, maybe also collect some Olympic points. And starting off by against Norway would probably be one of the favorites to get out of this group.
Yeah, I'd say so. They were the more experienced ones, and they've shown they're able to win a lot of games at the stage. So I think they're also my favorites coming into this game. But Turkey, as a curling nation, has really developed in the last few years, and they're producing some really good curling players. It'd be really interesting to see where they are in 10 years. So Magnus Nedergotten for Team Norway was a part of the team that won the Norwegian Championship in men's play this year. First time in a long period dominated by Team Ulsrud. So part of the team that's really up and coming back in Norway. Also a Winter University Aid champion from Granada 2015. So it's been around the block a few times, him as well.
And he shows it with this draw, very good in front of the tee line. There is still some space maybe in the forefoot for Turkey, but it's getting more and more difficult to get a good draw in there. It's going to come on the intern side and try and get one still onto the 1 foot circle. They might even be able to get shots down here. That would be absolutely perfect. But certainly a tricky draw for Shakir. Calling hard for line here. It's going to be really good if they get it by, but they're just going to rub off the top yellow. This looked like the weight was almost exactly where they needed it to be. So Norway's going to play a nose hit here, or just a tiny little roll in towards the middle. Try and close the draw path off.
Treffe 2/3 med 15, tror jeg er perfekt. 2/3. Fart er bra. 25.
A little nice hit and roll. And Norway sits 4. Certainly putting the pressure on Turkey here early on.
A nice controlled weight by Magnus as well, even though he said it's a little bit slow down that side still.
So I believe we're looking at some upweight here.
Yeah, there's really no way for Turkey to get a stone in a good position where it would put where it would put Norway in any danger. So just try and make sure that they don't lose too many points early here.
Let's try and rip a few red ones here. Maybe open things up a wee bit. Does get 2 going. Not sure if that back one went all the way out, but they have that Yellowstone top 12 out counting it, so effectively out of play. And I guess they have opened it up just a tiny, tiny bit. Able to make that freeze now on both the in and out turn. I'm sure we'll see Norway just come around again. Sporting in some new gear. Team Norway, they've had more or less the same kind of outfit, jackets for a number of years. Now we're playing with the red and blue.
It's very nice.
I think Magnus was complaining it was a little too tight though. Didn't get the right sizes.
Det ser jævlig tight ut, du må gå med. Hard.
This one maybe. Oh, I was going to say pulling up short, but just enough to get it to the top of the 8 foot. Just nibbled 8 foot anyway.
Yeah, the Turkey could still get rid of a couple here. Just try and keep Norway to 2. Can they even get all 3 of them if they play enough weight?
I think it's close, but I'm not sure if she has that kind of weight though. You might need maybe national coach of Canada, Jeff Stoughton, to come out and throw it. We'll see. We did see this girl throw some amazing shots at the World Junior Curling Championships just last month in Copenhagen. They were playing only with 3 players, so she's used to not having 2 sweepers.
That could be perfect for mixed doubles then.
So, big weight here. Trying to run off a few red stones. Well, there's Turkey's last stone of the end, really needing to tidy up, and she will catch a piece of the back one, not enough to move it out of the 8 foot. So Norway sitting 2. I believe this will be a draw to score 3. As you can see, this is very close. Just needed to curl another 1/4 inch. So last stone for Team Norway, and Kristin Moen skal spin. She'll throw this on the in-turn.
Yeah, this is the same side she threw her last stone draw. And she put that one on the 4 foot.
6, 7, 6.
Needs to find the 8 foot with this one and score 3.
8, 9, lang.
She plays for the Norwegian women's team. Failed to qualify for the World Women's Championship this year in Swift Current, and I guess have had more time to focus on the World Mixed Doubles. As you can see, she'll put that draw perfectly in the 4 foot to score 3. A great start for the Norwegians, but we will remember it is mixed doubles. Anything can still happen. 7 more ends to go.
Men oss kan ikke, oss bruker alt for mye tid. Kommer til å gå opp en parti.
Ok, så den var litt kjappere.
Så har brukt over 3 minutter.
Well, back in action on sheet Bravo. Norway up by 3 after the first end. And we could just hear the Norwegians talking in between ends there about their time. They've spent 3 minutes already. And with 22 minutes divided by 8 ends, that should result to 2 minutes and 45 seconds to play. So they spent a little bit more than the average.
Yeah, we saw in our previous game both teams just really struggling for time in the last end. So you need to think and play fast in mixed doubles. And I guess also when you have the sweeper and you kind of go back and forward a little bit more, that also takes some time. So you need to be quick in your decision making.
Nasıl dönüş? Dönmüyor. Biz iyi. Fena değiliz. Dönmesi lazım biraz.
You need to be able to think quickly on your feet. There's no need to throw the stones too hard, though. You won't be saving any time doing that. This one will slip to the back of the 4, leave a big pocket for Norway to draw into. So just failing to control the top of the house here, Turkey.
Yeah, I think Norway would like this top of the button, top of the forefoot. Don't come too deep. Just leave something there that'll be in Turkey's way.
Nedergotten, a former alpine skier. Was a pretty good talent when he was about 16, 17, but just got caught up with the curling and just done quite well doing that.
And does quite well putting that one on the tee line. I think ideal is a little bit higher up because Turkey can still follow here, but still a good shot.
I think that was Kadir just picking up some debris from the ice. Moved it away from the sheet and over to the carpet, the walkway. Of course, it doesn't take much for a stone to go astray. Just a tiny piece of hair, or flint, or just anything really. And your stone might come to an abrupt end or stop. Haven't seen any pickups yet. Probably looking to get to the face of the red shot stone here. And preferably maybe even tap them a wee bit.
Yeah, really good weight. Just he would really have liked that to curl a bit more because his shooter should be fairly open. Magnus should be able to get to the inside of this yellow, push it back, and then line up 3 in behind the center guard.
Jeg vil ikke gå så veldig hardt, men greit. Litt mer. Det løs vant på der. Fint det. Vær med på utsiden.
Ja.
Vant. Hack.
So throwing about hack, board weight here.
Du vær med.
I think this needs to curl, try and come to the inside.
Med fortsetningen. Alt der. Aldri slippe. Aldri slippe.
Almost gets to nose, not too bad there. As you heard Magnus call out, you had to sweep yesterday.
Det var litt tight og satt den litt på, så den kom liksom.
It's very frustrating as a sweeper when you hear that.
You're already too late to make it. Well, I think they saved that one pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, ideal would have been to just roll towards the tee line a little bit because there is still some space for a yellow stone to come to the face of the best red one, but it's not an easy draw.
We did see that a few times though in our first broadcast with Scotland, Russia. Those hack board weights just being overthrown, or maybe just taking out too much ice. Or maybe they're just a bit afraid of catching the guard, or maybe throwing a bit too much weight coming down a fresh path. Don't know what, but I haven't seen too many of those type of shots over curl. Speaking of over curl, this one will catch the guard. So Turkey failing to take advantage of their opportunities so far.
Yeah, I think the hack and board weights are normally those type of shots that you like to really give to your sweepers. And of course in mixed doubles you only have the one sweeper, and sometimes you might have a skip and you might have to run up, and then you just adjust your throw a little bit, and that's why they might become harder in mixed doubles.
Jeg går i starten I hvert fall. Du må gå pinse. Ok.
So using the directional sweeping to their advantage here. You'll see Kristin Skalstin with probably a more fresh pad, a more abrasive pad to make structures in the ice that the stone will follow. To make a curl less, sweeping against a curl, as we say. That one just maybe over curling a tad. Still a port to come through here for Turkey to get into the 1-foot. I kind of like that call from Norwich, throwing the guard. I think in mixed doubles you're so easily sucked into the forfeit area. That's where you want to place your stone always. And sometimes you just forget that, well, if you throw a guard here, our opponent doesn't have anything.
Yeah, you're right, Sander. I think a lot of the time we do see a lot of freezes and forfeit play, and it's like your mind is just set on that. I think it can also change a little bit with the power play, where you spread stones around a little bit more, and it forces you to sort of think outside the box.
Think outside the forfeit.
Exactly, the circle. This looks like a good stone from Shakir. If they can get it all the way down, it's going to be perfect. Just a little shy on weight.
Well, Norway lying shot stone, and I believe Nedergotten just having a look to see if Turkey's left any circus shot for a big score here.
Han har ikke noe særlig morsomt her da, det det som Jeg vet ikke om han har noen stein for å få shot egentlig, sånn som det ligger nå.
Nei, men
Vi kunne ha gjort den, for så ligger 2. Da det jævlig sannsynlig at vi stjeler 2.
Ok, jeg gjør det nå. Kjører 10-part.
Gard der, jeg litt usikker. For tida sin skyld. Jeg jævlig usikker på om han kan få noe hvis vi ruller av.
So they have elected to play the guard. They did talk about tapping the left-hand side red stone into the button. But just for playing it a little safer, throwing the guard.
Yeah, just it's all about time management just now. Not wanting to spend too much time thinking about it. So just throwing the guard, and it looks like they will steal one. I can't really see a shot to score here for Turkey. And playing the guard here, they're definitely not going to leave them anything. As this one will actually pull up short. To stop on the hog line, you need to cross that blue line completely for the stone to be in play. So nothing's changed. And we'll see what Turkey has left. Kristin Skalstin just all worried for time at the moment. So
I don't really think they need to be worried for time, even if they have played 2 ends a little slow. They're sitting good, and It's always better to take your time and make the shots. I think maybe
En
she was
fazla bir
even a little
alacak, en
bit
fazla.
stressed already in the hack there.
Şu anda zaten bir alıyor.
Aynen.
Ama
Deneyelim. Şuradan taşa vurursaksa bunu hafif iter buraya kayabilir. O yüzden.
tamam deneyelim. O taş buraya gelirse 2 alabilir. Sıkıntımız o
Artık
sadece.
dönüşe göre sen ayarla.
Tamam burası.
Tamam.
So we're going to play the angled run back here. I can't really see that Norwegian shot stone being moved too far, but I think you might be able to get that Yellowstone top 4 closer to the pin to score 1, perhaps. But to score 2, I think that's a bit of a tall task. I don't have that kind of imagination.
Well, we'll see if you have to expand your creativity after this, but it does look like a shot for 1 and a pretty difficult one as well.
Güzel çizgi.
Last one of the second end for Turkey. It's an angled run back to trying to shift things around. This one just over curling by a fraction. So it will be a steal of 1 for Team Norway. And with that single point, they will lead the game 4 shots to nothing
Technical timeout with
after
the
2 ends of play.
number 5. That is not lighting. I can test it again though. It didn't lit up last time. You see, no battery.
Well, there you have it. 4-0 for Team Norway as we're about to get started with the third end. And the whole chatter we heard as we were wrapping up the second end there was just one of Norway's stones. There's no battery left, and you might think, why do the stones run on batteries, Sarah?
Well, that would be the handles that show that you've released the stone before the hog line. See the stone that Christine Skoslien just threw here? It had a green light when she released it, which means that it was released on time before the hog line. And I think this is a really good first shot of the end. It's not shot stone. It doesn't need to be a shot stone, but it's in the forefoot. It's certainly in the way of your opponents.
Bekle, acele etme.
And there are a lot of stones yet to come.
Tamam.
I think
Hızlı mı?
Yildiz is going to need to try and freeze on an angle of this red.
Dönüş.
Dönüyor.
Well, this one is looking like a hot potato coming down the ice.
Wow.
Guess that is also the tricky thing about throwing the 1 and 5. And your first one is always a draw, but it's quite common. Like now, she threw a peel with her last shot, and then she needs to find perfect tee weight. You might not have the same communication that you always do when you have your sweepers, and it's quite a long time before you throw your stones. So draw weight can be pretty tricky.
Jeg tror vi fryser ned på shottene, Altan.
Der.
Ja.
Ja, ja, på linje.
I'll see both sweepers on the same side. That's not really something you've seen too much since the 90s. And it's all about the directional sweeping. Sweeping against that curl, trying to keep it straight.
Jeg tror jeg gikk egentlig med samme fart, så det ville jo gått på innan.
And of course, they were sweeping like that in the 90s because, well, it's not for directional sweeping necessarily, but more because they weren't able to sweep on both sides, I believe.
I would think so too.
Not as versatile as the players are today. Athletes being able to sweep everywhere and anywhere.
So Shakir Kadir now needing a good draw. It's really quite a closed path to the middle right now. And Turkey with the last stone. They are going to need to score a couple.
Seems to be a bit slower down this path. I just heard Team Norway say that when Nedergotten's drop pulled up top 12. They were looking to freeze the shot initially. And now Turkey also coming up short. Well, let's try the other hand. See if it's any different.
Touch mer. Du må komme I hvert fall. Helst ganske fort.
So again, just calling for Christine that she really needs to be here and fast.
Well, she finally came. He wasn't in that much of a hurry to actually sweep it. In the end, will crash on the stone top 12, but kind of leaves that in a usable spot.
Jeg vet det, men det ikke bra at jeg har den. Faen, altså, vi har dårlig kontroll nå her.
I think that was Magnus Nedergotten just saying there, having a little self-critique, saying we're not really good at knowing who's got the right broom and so on. It's definitely a thing that's come into play this season, the directional sweeping, and I'm sure they'll have one really abrasive broom and one more broken in or a different type of pad for just for regular sweeping, just to heat up the ice to make the stones travel further. And sometimes they forget who's got the right broom.
Yeah, it certainly demands a lot of communication.
And you're only two players out there. You're a little bit tight for time because it's mixed doubles and you're just having to play and play and play. And you got 20 stones in play. Well, 20 is maybe over-exaggerating, but definitely a lot of things to think about. So it's really interesting to see how the teams managed to do everything. Well, makes one red go here. Tickles the second one. Quite congested down the center line for Turkey. Can't really see how they're going to score big here. Especially if Norway can put a stone top 4.
And yeah, and even just get a good shot stone in here. They might be looking good to steal again.
Nice little draw there. Just tap the L1 back half a foot. Sit shot stone. Still leaves a draw for Turkey. But I guess when you're up 4 without the last stone, you're quite happy to give away one, aren't you?
I think so. Even if Turkey makes the perfect draw to sit one here, I can't really see anywhere where they score 2. So it's really good for Norway.
Yep. Oh. Sen de.
Zi.
Dönmesi lazım. Hızlı gibi. Oh.
Önde.
This one needs to dive in. And I don't think it's enough for shot stone. Needed to curl a bit more because there's actually now room for Norway to get another one in there. Actually just tap that yellow one back. Make sure to get to the inside. Roll in a little bit. And really make it difficult for Turkey to score.
So playing, I guess, a hackboard way here. Would it not also be possible just to play this T-line or
Yeah,
heavy draw?
It definitely would. I think this one is a little wide. Really need inside. Turkey looking at options of scoring 2 here.
Deneyelim mi?
They definitely have the draw to the 4-foot to score their 1.
Geldiniz mi?
Yani bu bizim için şu anda kullanılabilir bir şey.
Tempting perhaps to try and come in off the yellow one. And try and push the red shot stone out of the 4-foot.
2'den fazla değil ya, onu atmaya.
Tamam. İyi gelmemiz lazım
Tamam.
buraya. Burada ben geliyorum sana.
Then electing the little safer shot.
Üç yedi. Yedi.
Ol. Ol. Hızlı mı?
Last stone of the third end. It is a draw to score 1 here for Team Turkey.
Döndü. Ol.
Norway currently lying the 1. And this one's going to have to grow some teeth to sit in the 4-foot. It's going to slip too far, I think. Certainly looks that way. Again, 1 red, says Shakir Kadir. It will be 1 for Norway.
Kırmızı mı?
And still very much up front with 5-0 after 3 ends of play, but still 5 ends to go. Anything can happen. Stay tuned.
Çok da açık değil yani, anca döndü.
Well, the umpire's doing an excellent job swiftly putting up those pre-positioned stones. And a very short break we have in between ends. And just time again for Norway to throw the first stone, having now scored in the first 3 ends of the game. There's, of course, a few other games out in the Löfbergs Arena this afternoon. And I'm quite sure that our lovely expert, Sarah, can update the scores for us.
I would love to. England is playing Romania and they have a 7-0 lead after 3 ends, so good start for them. And Estonia is up 6-0 over Czech Republic, also after 3 ends. Japan has a 4-1 lead over Kazakhstan. And Belarus is up 6-2. They're playing Israel.
Why, thank you very much.
You are welcome.
So far, not the tightest of games
Yap,
on
go
this
in the
draw.
bus.
But
Yap, yap, yap, yap, yap, yap, yap.
mixed doubles games surely will bring you big scores and big swings in games. So we'll keep our eye on what's happening.
Buradan çıktı.
Turkey just over curling again, and we'll clip the guard.
Dra alt deg og frys den gule, mener du?
Ja.
Kan godt det.
And if you start counting, you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 stones in play. Means Norway are not allowed to hit any stones yet. There needs to be 5 stones in play before we can do so. Or in other words, the 4th stone thrown every end is when you can start hitting.
Perfekt fart. 7.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why we have big swings in the game in the mixed doubles. When you're not allowed to hit anything before you have that many stones in play, it just means that you have to keep drawing and tapping and leave a lot of stones around.
And it's important to note that you're not even allowed to remove your own stones within the free guard zone rule for mixed doubles.
İşten çok fazla dedin.
So sometimes you might have a guard, like Norway has the center guard. They might want to just remove it, but they are not allowed to. And if it would ever happen, they would simply remove the shots or the shooter and put the stone back where it was. Just like the free guard zone in the regular 4-person curling format. So haven't seen that thus far.
Whoa. Yep. Oh, oh, oh. Oh.
I think that was something maybe the players would forget
Yep.
time and time again in prior years, but now mixed doubles is really becoming a
Kaçtı stone.
a bigger event. I think they're up to date to what happened, as we saw. I believe Shakir Gadir just touched the stone in his roll, and that was a little unfortunate because that was supposed to be rolling a little further, and I think that was not to his benefit.
No, but here's good sportsmanship there, just saying, telling Christine what happened. And she selected to leave it there because it's now fairly open for Norway to hit it. A little unfortunate, but I guess it'll happen fairly easily when you're throwing and then running up and then sweeping and you have your slider on. And
Yeah, because a lot of players won't necessarily always sweep with the slider, do they?
no, well, some do, some don't. But if you normally sweep with your gripper, then this could definitely be a challenge. You have to reset for mixed doubles.
Ja, det gjorde det.
O sarı
Det var
önde.
litt tight i satten.
Sana vurup buraya kayacağız.
So a good shot played by Magnus, but I believe that yellow backstone is still second shot. And it's not as crowded in the forefoot in this end, so good opportunity for Turkey to maybe set up further juice.
Aynen normal.
Shakir gonna remove the red shot stone.
Yap. Yap, bırakma, bas, bas, bas. Devam, devam, devam, devam, devam, devam, devam. Yap, yap, yap, yap, yap, yap, yap, yap, yap.
Oh, almost over curling, but enough to stick the shooter in the wing.
Jo, da får du fryse på den, da.
Skal vi ta den kanten her?
The good thing for Norway is that their red one is
Eller touch utsida av
in behind the guard, so it's not going to be too easy to remove it.
And I think they're not looking to roll underneath cover here, just sit in the open, seeing how if they make the roll, that's something for Turkey to freeze onto. So I think just a nose hit or even a tiny roll towards the boards here is what the call is. Playing for the force, as we might say. Forcing your opponent to only score one single point. We'll make that tiny roll towards the blue foam. Set 2.
And Turkey could roll in here, but they will be behind the tee line if they roll shot stone,
Normal değil, biraz daha yavaşlatıyorum o zaman.
meaning that Norway could perhaps play a freeze and get the force that way.
Oh,
Yap. Yap, bırakma yap. Oh.
sen de. Oh, çok mu durdun?
So it is on the nose. And now, with this stone being a little higher up, Norway is going to try and get the roll in.
Yeah, and I believe it's down to the last stone for Turkey too, so even if they do make the roll, the freeze is not really a danger.
No, now you just try and get as good a shot rock in there as you can.
D-en. Streken på D-en, liksom.
So electing to bring her fiance as a sweeper here rather than to hold the broom. She will make the hit and roll. There we are. Excellent shot.
It's a really nice roll. Leaving Turkey with only the 1 foot circle to draw to. She had a similar draw in the third end, came a little deep, so chance to redeem herself now.
Daha açık atıyorum ha. Açık atıyorum. Çünkü
Açık dediğimiz kırmızının 1-0 diye böyle kenara.
sen de abi 7 atıyorum ha.
Tamam.
Açık atıyorum.
Last stone of this fourth end for Team Turkey, looking for their first score of the game, having conceded points on the first 3 ends. And again, it's no sweeping from Shakir Kadir. Now on the sweep though, but probably just to hold the line, I think. Not wanting to sweep this one for weight, as it'll slip past the shot stone. And how far out the back? Not enough for 2, but it will be another steal of 1 for Norway, as they're just putting up points on the board left and right. And that will be 6-0 after 4 ends of play. Team Norway quite dominant so far. And with the teams now having played 4 ends, they will head off the ice for half-time. As you see the scoreline, Norway scoring that big 3 in the first, and then 3 consecutive steals. And just in a few minutes, we'll have the highlights for you from the first 4 ends, and also the remainder of the game.
Det litt sånn kosterot med kampkost og sånn.
Vi gir oss mer enn det tar. Så du du ha det med her? Hvis du klarer da, og så holde Liebus ut, så holde unna her. Da er det kjempebra. Da og så viser jeg hvertfall hvis Liebus ut, så skal jeg holde minst for unna det. Så heller den kjenner at man begynner så lite. Det er der det går, så er den begge to at du begynner det. Enig? Har du hoddet med særlig stein etter saken, eller? Ja. Hva ligger du på nå? Jeg har vært dårlig på det. Kjennes det som nesten 15 år.
Vi har brukt alt for lang tid i starten.
Nei, ikke alt for lang tid. Vi bruker fint tid. Vi tenker på det. Vi er helt med.
Jeg klarer det. Så mer tid enn Tyrkia, da. Ta det greit.
In the first end of the game between Turkey and Norway, it's Norway and Kristin Skaslien that has a draw to the 8th foot to start off with a score of 3 for Norway. And then in the second end, there are lots of stones in the 4-foot, and Norway is shot stone. So Yildiz tries a difficult angle run, one quite curl enough, and a steal of 1 for Norway. They're up 4-0 after 2 ends. And then in the third end, it's Turkey with a draw to the 4-foot to pick up a point, but this one just a little too heavy, and it's yet another steal for Norway. Similar situation then in the 4th end. Norway sitting 2. Yildiz needs part of the button to score for Turkey, and this one as well will go just a little too far, and after 4 ends it's Norway with a 6-0 lead over Turkey.
And that brings us to the 5th end of play. The teams are just slowly but steadily making their way back onto the ice. It's Norway to start. So it's Turkey's stone on the back of the 4-foot. What's been the big difference between the teams so far, do you think, Sarah?
I think most of all it's stone placement. I think Norway's been really good at getting the stones where they want them, or at least within a good acceptable range, whilst Turkey has had a bit bigger margins, maybe coming a little deep when Norway's put one top 4-foot and things like that, that it leaves them a more difficult shot every time. And they've been very close with a few of the last stone draws, but just a little long as well.
So you're saying Norway is just better at erring on the right side of tolerance than Turkey?
Yes, well, they're keeping everything within the smaller tolerance, so very good or close to perfect with every shot, and then Turkey maybe missing a little bit on the wrong side.
Norway's just making more shots than Turkey, really.
Yes.
Well, that certainly is the way to win a curling game.
Yes.
This one will just find its way top 8 again. Not completely frozen down there, but leaves it in a spot that's kind of controlling the 4-foot perhaps. We'll definitely be able to use it and tap it up later on. And again, I think we're going to see Turkey just slip a bit too deep.
Yeah, and as we said, I mean, even if that's closer to the button and they're now sitting 2, it is behind the tee line, so it's not really very dangerous for Norway to have it there.
I believe it was a Norwegian world champion, Kristian Sørum, who once said, "Stones in behind tee line are your friends." That is just
If they're opponents.
If you have last stone advantage and they're your
Yeah.
opponents, I think it was the scenario.
9, bra tappert.
So
9, 10.
Norway not with last stone, but those yellow stones not as big of a threat when they're the back 4. And they can just put stones on top.
Ned i fartsretning.
Yeah, they just need to find good line and do exactly what Magnus did there and outcount the yellows, use them as backing. And now it's definitely getting crowded in the forefoot again, making it more difficult for Turkey to create room to score at least more than 1. So Shakir Kadir
1 下，
now need to come to the face or to the inside of the red. Maybe even tap it back just a little bit. And it did start to curl, but maybe not enough to not get to the inside, so this leaves the same shot available for Magnus.
Maks hack, for det ikke så mye du ser.
Der!
2,6 skal jeg se.
OK?
Det ser bra ut. Det ser ut som løs hack for meg.
Ja.
Hack.
Wow! Wow! Ni!
Hack.
Ni!
Hack.
Nå, Kølle!
Hack.
Ja! Ja! Følg! Følg han!
It's probably just left that a little too long for line.
Biraz daha hızlı alalım abi süre.
Draw still available for Turkey.
Sekiz. Dönmesi lazım. Oh. Dönsün dönsün. Hızlı mı?
Hop, iyi.
Oh. Oh. Hızlı uçmaz.
And again, we see that come just a bit too deep. Sometimes that also happens when in the back of your head you think that you have backing. Just ends
Ja,
up
da drar vi da.
not curling enough because you have that little bit extra weight.
You see the broom swapping. Saw a lot of that the World Men's Curling Championship in Basel just last week.
Der!
Touch mer.
And the rules for sweeping for the mixed doubles is 2 brooms, 2 pads.
6.
And that's pretty much it.
6.
Se!
7 er helt nedpå. 7. Ja.
Yeah, now so Kristin will come up and try and make this curl.
Kanskje kommer. Skal ikke ta til banen sin egen, hva skal man si.
Well, finds a pretty good spot there. It'd be hard to bring any of those yellows into play now, I think.
Yeah, and it's a really small scoring area.
So Norway is, according to the mixed doubles world ranking of April 2015, we are ranked number 4 in the world. Turkey is ranked number 29.
Güzel geliyor. Oh.
Sweden is currently topping
Dönmesi lazım.
those standings. And of course we are in Sweden.
Yeah, we have had a few championships here in Karlstad. In '77, it was the world men's here. It was won by Sweden, and then also the Europeans in 2012 when Niklas Edin won on the men's side. So odds for Sweden are pretty good here in Karlstad.
Yeah, place your bets, everyone. Swedes are apparently taking it this year, according to our expert. Although I shall
Also
mention
Swedish.
she is Swedish.
De har nå, så garder vi.
And I can also tell you that's a really, really good draw.
Etterpå, men da er det fortsatt lett for dem å dra fra en, så like gjerne garde.
Pile.
Gard,
Er det ikke greit å gi dem en?
gard.
Ja.
I think Norway's quite happy to give up the one. They're going to guard the situation.
Yeah, I think what they were saying is they could play the peel and kind of blast that shot stone off the 1 foot, but just leave them the same draw for 1. So might just well throw the guard.
Da is nesten baneskille.
Har du da baneskille?
Not sure if they have a draw for 2 on the outturn, do they?
I'd say that's probably a no. They need to get almost fully in behind that red one.
Yeah. Yep, so just playing it safe here. Team Norway quite happy to give up the 1 and get last stone advantage back. Have to do only concede the 1 single point. They will be up 5 with last stone, and I think they'll be quite happy with that. 3 ends to go.
Det er ikke rimet.
Det der hjelper ikke nå. Bra, Kristian.
Greit det?
Ja.
Uansett hvor man sier det.
Ja, du må sette den på ekstra, for det går ut i rimen, ikke sant? Jeg ser ingenting for 2.
Norway can't see any shot to score 2. I can't really see a shot for 2. I guess it's the outturn draw is the only. Oh, it's the only chance you have.
Yeah, you really need it to carve after you're past the top red one.
Yep.
But no harm in having a go.
No, practice the draw weight, if anything. Last stone of the 5th end. Seemingly an impossible shot to make, and it's not going to be very close either. So if there were a shot you'd like to miss, it was probably that one. It will be a 1 for Turkey. Their first time up on the scoreboard here for this draw 2 of the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship 2016. Norway will lead the game 6 shots to 1, and I'll have last stone when we come back with the 6th end. Well, Norway will use their power play for the sixth end, up by 5. Feel like power play is something you use when you're down in games. Why are we using it now?
Well, they're in a good position. It's the sixth end. We play 8 ends. I think it's a really good opportunity for them to try and really get ahead of the game, and then also we're running out of ends to use power play, and it's a very good advantage to have. So just make good use of it now in the sixth.
Yeah, so they're making sure they actually get to use the power play, but also a good chance for them to maybe pick up a score of 2 or 3 here and effectively kill the game.
Yeah, and we're seeing Turkey with the strategy of then drawing into the middle of the rings, try and put a good shot zone in there, because Norway's not allowed to play the hit yet. So they're going to have to leave that yellow one there. I think most common now is to just try and actually wrap another one around the corner guard.
We'll see how aggressive Norway will stay here, considering how they are up by 5.
I also think using the power play can be a good defensive strategy as well, being up by 5 points. It's nice not to start out with a center guard and then a stone in behind it, so it's a way of keeping things open. This one, however, way short, actually, just guarding the yellow stone.
Not quite sure what the call was there. They were freezing or tapping the yellow, or didn't. I don't think they were coming around the corner, because I don't think she would miss the ice by that much. But maybe just found a slow path there and pulls up short, actually guarding the Turkish shot stone. So great opportunity for Turkey.
Yeah, I guess we haven't seen a single stone being thrown out to the wings yet in the game either, so maybe players not really sure what the ice was going to do there.
Yap, arkaya. Oh, dönsün, yap. Yap, dönsün, yap. Yapıştır.
Oh, an excellent draw around to sit 2. Now we will see more of a defensive call. It is the run back. Norway looking to run the guard down and trying to spill these yellows, at least one of them.
Yeah, I think this is a good call now. You're 5 points up. Don't get into trouble if you don't have to.
Well, it's a pretty good shot there. I don't think there's any chance of removing both the yellows. Had that kind of a catcher on the wing there, but I think he might have been able to just squeeze it out in the open, actually. So perhaps the best he could do there.
Yeah, however, there is still a guard up. The Turkey can try and get another one in here. Need to be a little careful so they don't set up a double for Magnus.
Turkey's been a member of the World Curling Federation since 2009. And they did host the 2011 Winter University Games. And after that, they hosted a bunch of things, actually. The World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship, we were back there in 2012. I believe it was yours truly and you.
Yes, we were there too.
Yeah.
So when we started our mixed doubles journey.
Yeah, it was a great event. And that's where they play, in the Milli Piango Curling Arena in Erzurum, Turkey, East Turkey.
Yeah, certainly a very nice place.
So that draw from Kadir just slipping all too far to the back of the 12-foot.
And
Om du tar den her, så er det greit. Om du køler over og tar den.
Ok. Hvor vil du ha isen?
Der.
Hvilken fart er det? Da vi garden der, det er jeg helt sikker på. Det der
I
går
garden.
ikke. Det var
11.
litt mindre i hvert fall. Ja.
So I'm spending a little bit of time to figure out where to, well, actually which turn to throw this, what weight, where to put the broom. But in the end, I think they are playing quite firm weight. It's a controlled peel. Looking to get through the hole here and remove the Yellowstone. And they will get through the hole. They will win and fly, and Norway sits 3. I felt like I've been saying that all day.
Yeah, they've certainly been sitting a couple quite often. And, well, now Turkey is looking at through coming through the same port. They could also, if they really wanted to go for the steal, play the draw around, find some cover in behind all of those reds.
I think I'd be tempted to play the draw here. I mean, you're 5 down. You really need to steal.
Yeah.
You have one more stone after this, though.
Pass. Yep.
Really calling on the sweep here. We'll go through the hole. Does get one red. Just going to tickle the stone back 12. But Norway still lying 2. And now looking to maybe split the rings, not wanting to come around the guard too deep. And there we see the stone again from Turkey. There's still a draw available for Team Turkey to come around that red stone top 8, just around everything.
Alternativet er full 8, bare helt åpen. Nei, jeg tenkte på midten liksom. Hvis du legger full 8 åpen på midten, så har de jo ingenting.
Der.
Ja, for hvis de drar rundt den da, så bare smeller vi på. Hva synes du? Problemet er at hvis det blir en centerguard, så er det jævlig dårlig.
Jeg synes her.
Ja.
Talking about the option of taking that draw away from Turkey, putting it on the center line. I think Magnus is a little bit worried that he would come up short and leave a center guard.
So maybe just not completely comfortable with the draw weight coming down this path. Is it not? Could they not just have peeled the center guard too?
Sure, they could have.
I feel like that's maybe the easiest call to make sure they have a score, well, a shot to score in this end.
Definitely, if Turkey comes around that top stone, then it's a very short race for Christine with her last. But it's a good draw. Norway sitting 3 again. So Turkey now has to choose. But I think the smart call is to try and come around here.
O sıkıntı ya Dilşat. Yani gördüğü yerden bunu dışarı atar. Dışarı gider. Direkt buralara oynasak daha iyi.
And Yildiz looking
Değil mi?
at
Buralardan.
playing a little run back
Buralara
of
gelse.
sorts. It's often a sign of a lack of confidence, I think, when the obvious call is the draw. She has struggled a bit with her draws today.
Yeah, but she's not been far off. It's been maybe
65-7.
just a little bit deep. And she's got some more space now. Important thing is to make sure that it is a shot stone and make it a little bit more difficult for Christine to throw her last.
Biraz hızlı gibi. Bak bakalım. Dönüşe bak. İyi.
Well, it's not the first time
Hızlı mı?
Kadir has kept away from one of these draws.
Dönüş.
Not wanting to touch this one yet. But
Dönmesi lazım biraz
starting
daha.
to settle down. She's got a really good line here. How far will it go?
Güzel.
Again, just a bit too far. You just hang on
Güzel.
the back 8. It's hard to tell how many, well, who's lying at all. Might be shot stone.
Armbædre.
Redstone top 8 might be better. We're having a look, not sure.
Ja, den er det.
Rødmest, ja.
I think Either way, Norway's gonna need to play the draw here.
Okay. Make sure. Kristin Skoslin has played 72% on her 9 draws. Should be pretty close with this one. Just needing a full 8 foot for the point. And a 6-point lead here in the 6th end. Working it really hard here. Trying to drag it as far as he can. He's definitely a strong guy, a fit guy, will bring it as far as it's possible.
Wow.
And I believe that is just enough to score 1, and we might just have a measure to see if it might be more.
It's a good effort by Magnus.
I'd say so.
Measure or?
I think we are going to call for a measure. If I was Magnus, I'd call for a measure just to get my breath back.
Yeah, it's not a bad call.
Just to have a tiny break. I've done that before.
Yeah, because he's going to be the one sweeping the first stone of
Yeah.
of the next end anyways.
Yeah, I've done
Just
that.
get a little breather.
Swept a few stones coast to coast, and it'd be like, let's have a measure. It's like, it's not close. It's like, I don't care. Just need a couple of minutes to breathe. We'll have a measure. It looks pretty close.
Yeah, so umpire Maria Davidsson will come out and perform the measure.
Do you think it is the yellow one, though? It's what they thought it was, but you never know. 1 point for sure for Team Norway. And the umpires are always so good at kind of covering that dial up with their heads. You'll
Well,
never get to see. Is their own secret.
I guess it's maybe more important that they see properly, but
Well, it makes it.
it's going to be close.
It's touching. And then the third one's a 3-way measure. Could be 1 for Norway, could be 3, could be 2. Well, that one looks closer, no?
We should put microphones on the umpires as well.
I think she's excluding the redstone top 8. I wasn't sure if that was because it is a scoring point or not, but she's doing a remeasure of the 2 stones at the back. So just to make sure. So I'm sure it's close.
Okay, again, please. Again, please. Sure.
All right, so our umpire just saying it is very close. If you want to measure again, you can. And Team Turkey is wanting to see this with their own eyes. There have been occasions where we've had a dead measure, an even measure.
Yeah, talk about a game of millimeters.
There we go again. I hope the umpire doesn't get dizzy from spinning around the house so many times. So, in the end, what do we get? I am not quite sure.
Okay, thank you.
And we're all just waiting. 3 red, actually. And we
Wow.
thought that Turkish stone was out counting all the red ones. And after a 3-way measure, Norway actually picking up a score of 3. And that's going to make it a 9 shots to 1 game. And it's fair to say this is pretty much over. But I think you might see Turkey wanting to play on as not playing so many games this week. So it's good for the practice. We'll be back shortly with the next end.
Nei, sånn jeg trenger ikke.
Well, that scoreboard is lying. It is 9 shots to 1 for Norway, as we can see behind Kristin Moen-Skaslien. And it's Turkey to utilize their power play on this end. And I'm sure they feel like the game slipped away from them, but this is a great chance for Team Turkey to use their power play and just kind of practice it a wee bit. As I just mentioned earlier, there's not that many games. You know, most teams here only play 1 game a day, so just taking their time to actually get to stay on ice and make some shots, and especially not having used the power play, I think it's smart for them to get that practice before their next game.
Yeah, and we saw Norway just trying to play that first shot that you talked about in the previous end, Sander, actually tick the corner guard in towards the center and roll out. And they've not ticked it very far, but they've left the shot stone open.
I'm sure everyone's back to normal breath after that 3-way measure. Everyone got a good break.
And this one lost its handle, maybe picked up something. 44% for Yildiz. Remember, she's been very close with a couple of draws, but just not quite there. And 83% for Magnus Nedregotten. That's amazing numbers in mixed doubles, I would say.
Yeah, really, really solid game. As he's just going to draw the forfeit here. Again, a thumb rule, just counting the stones. There's only 4 stones in play, meaning Norway is not allowed to make a hit. So just going to draw to the forfeit. And of course, Turkey now are allowed to hit if they want to.
Ya da vurup buraya.
Evet, evet. 2'ye böleriz.
Ama onlar sonra vurup arkaya girecek.
Girsin.
I don't think they can be too worried about the red stone right now. I'd maybe like to see them come around the corner guard. They need to score with pretty much every stone they have in this end. So Shakir at least needing to roll in behind the cover, because I think they've elected the hit.
I'm sure there's lots of other things that has happened out in the arena. Sarah, I do even believe we have a final score.
That is true. Estonia picked up a big win playing Czech Republic. They won that game 12-3. Japan is up 7-2 playing Kazakhstan. Belarus is up 10-5 against Israel. And the game between Romania and England is also over. England picking up a win over there, 9-2.
Excellent.
They're fairly big scores so far in this draw. Of course, the first game for all the teams in this group.
Ja, så synes jeg.
Well, Nedregotten up by 8 points, but still annoyed every time he makes a half shot.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
That you're going to keep performing, I guess.
7.
Yeah, it's good to be to have high standards, I guess.
Yep.
But if you're going to be upset by missing a half shot when you're 8 up, I'd hate to see what's going to happen if you misses a shot completely when they're down 2 later in the week.
Yeah, I see your point, Sander. That could be trouble. And this is a nice draw by Turkey to come around that guard, not leaving a double. Or is there a double?
Karlstad.
Magnus seeing a chance to get back here, getting a perfect shot.
Yeah, looking to make a double here. Slash double. Head about half the rock. See if we can get both going. We'll get one, we'll get two. There we are. Excellent shot. Not very much left for Turkey, except that corner guard.
Hadde vi gått i garden, så hadde vi maks fått tre. Da hadde vi ikke noe.
Sen de. O dönmesi lazım o. Hızlı mı?
Yok, iyi.
So a last chance for Turkey to score two. Not a skips deuce. I guess we can't use that expression in mixed doubles.
No, because who's really the skip?
And the two last stones are always played by two different people.
Yeah. I just say it's safe to say that skip stews is not an expression that we're going to be using this week. And just maybe giving up a little bit now. Turkey just putting that draw in through the rings. So really no pressure at all here for Christine. Trying to get a good one in behind the corner, front of the tee line. But just calling this one long as well.
Yeah, saying that pretty keen path. See if it hangs on. I think just enough. There we are. Norway lies two. And it will be a shot for one for Team Turkey. They've failed to generate multiple scores in this game. It took them 5 ends to get up on the board. And when they let go of the last one advantage, they give up a 3. After a 3-way measure, well, we thought it was only going to be the 1. So 9 shots to 1 lead for Norway. This will be for 1. And I believe, mathematically, they will have to concede the game.
Yeah, 6 being the absolute highest you can score in mixed doubles. Being down 9 shots to 2 isn't really an option.
No, you will actually be forced to concede the game. You're not allowed to play on, according to WCF rules. And with this one pulling up short as well, it will be another steal for Norway. This time a steal of 2. It's going to bring the scoreline to 11 shots to 1. And I believe we have hands shaken.
Good luck.
There we are. A solid performance from Norway as they look to make it to the playoffs, catch some Olympic points, and perhaps improve on their bronze medal finish. So what did you make of this game, Sarah?
Well, I think Norway was on top from the start with just the way they placed their stones and controlled both the draw and the hit weight. So well-deserved winners of this first draw. And if you hang on, Sander is going to make his way down to the mixed zone and ask Norway what they thought about the game. And we're also going to bring you some highlights. In the first end between Norway and Turkey, it was Christine Skaslien that had a draw to the 8-foot to score 3 and get Norway off to an early lead. In the second end, we had lots of stones in the 4-foot, and it was Norway with the shot stone as Yildiz tried the angle run, curled a little too much, and Norway stole one in the second end for a 4-0 lead. Again, similar situation in the third end. This time it's Turkey and Yildiz with a draw for one. Magnus Nedregotten able to sweep this all the way back, and another steal of one, 5-0 for Norway. In the fourth end, again, it's Yildiz with a difficult draw to try and pick up a point. She needs the 1 foot, but this one as well sliding a bit too far, and it's 6-0 for Norway after 4 ends. So after the fourth end break in the fifth end, it's Turkey sitting the one already. It's a fairly impossible draw, and she will come up short. So, but getting a point on the board, 6-1 to Norway. And then we had a very excited sixth end when Norway elected to use the power play. And this was the draw that gave them the score of 1, and then we had a 3-way measure that actually turned out in Norway's favor, so they were up 9-1 after 6 ends. Finally leaving Turkey with only the draw for 1. They will come up a bit short. Norway steals 2 in the 7th end, and handshakes after the score is final 11-1 win for Norway. We are going to be back in 2 hours. 8 o'clock with a game between Sweden and Austria. And right now, Sander's going to give you an interview with Team Norway.
The dominant performance for Norway today. What did you make out of the game?
A win and a really good start, I think. Yeah, I've been a little bit nervous for this first game now, and yeah, a good time actually. And it's good to just get it over with and get the feel in the ice, and yeah, see that the communication work okay. And yeah, what do you think?
You know, the first game is always unpredictable. It's on new arena, new zones, ice. But I think we did a good game. So just hopefully our performance will just go better and better. So that was good.
We've seen mixed doubles become an Olympic sport since last year. Do you think that's improved the field for this year?
I think it's more or less the same actually. But I think the teams that is here, they have probably practiced a bit more, and they have more support, and I've been around and played some more tournaments, so they're a little better prepared. But yeah, other than that, it feels pretty much the same, actually. It does.
Are you looking to improve on your bronze medal from last year?
Of course.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And is the goal to make it to the Olympics in the end?
Sure is. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.